Hi, and welcome to a new episode of Spoonie Space. Thank you so much for joining us this week again. Spoonie Space is a weekly web-based show made by Spoonies for Spoonies. And you might think, what is a Spoonie? A Spoonie is a person who suffers from a chronic illness or an invisible illness or a chronic pain, which limits them in their daily life. So all of us here have something chronically wrong with us, and that's what makes us all Spoonies. Every week we go live and we discuss different topics. And this week's topic is Fluff Busters. That means, what is the craziest thing that people have told you to do to feel better? And more importantly, which ones helped? Because you hear a lot of things and you try it and they don't help. But sometimes there's crazy suggestions that you do try out and they did help. On our main page on Facebook, our Spoonies for Life Facebook page, we posted the question and we got like 70 comments. So we're going to go through part of the comments. There's too many to really read all, but we're going to go through the comments. Spoonies for Life is our big community, our support community, where we all come together and give each other support. So that's what Spoonie Space is a part of. Well, the Spoonie panel today is ready to discuss. Let's first introduce myself. My name is Natalie. I'm the founder of Spoonies for Life. We started it as just, I started it as just a Facebook page in April of 2015, and now it has grown out into quite a big community on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. We have a web shop, and we're on YouTube, and we have this show. I'm 33 years old. I live on Lanzarote. That's an island in the Atlantic Ocean close to North Africa, and it belongs to Spain. What makes me a Spoonie is that I have fibromyalgia and I have Hashimoto's disease, and my most debilitating symptom is my fatigue, because my fatigue really limits me most. So let's have the other panelists introduce themselves. Tina, please introduce yourself.
My name is Tina, or Christina sometimes on the show if our friend Dina is joining us. I am a mother of 4 adult children and currently have 2 granddaughters staying with me this week, which is inducing a little fatigue already. I'm 42 years old and I live in Wisconsin. The winters can be pretty hard on fibromyalgia here, which I have. As a Spoonie, my main diagnosis is fibromyalgia. I also have SAD, S-A-D-D, which is seasonal affective disorder, and chronic depression. Basically, my biggest struggle right now is fatigue. I recently left a job due to the fatigue and not being able to keep up with the children I worked with. So that's a big adjustment, but it's getting easier. My part of Spoonies for Life, I do some articles for the website, and I'm an admin in our support group, and also sometimes a panelist here. How about Kathy? How about you?
Thank you, Tina. Hi, I'm Catherine, and I'm a 54-year-old empty nester, 2 grown boys. I have fibromyalgia, arthritis, and bipolar disorder. I also deal with mainly the depressive side of bipolar disorder. The biggest struggle for me lately has been a challenge of taking care of my mother, who is dealing with some of her own medical issues, and trying to get her in to get surgery and that, and trying to be the caregiver. Unfortunately, the last 6 months I've had to step aside and hire caregivers, but I still stay with her for moral support. So that's kind of my Spoonie challenge right now, is being strong enough for my mother without wearing myself down where I can't function. I'm an admin here on Spoonie Space, and I'm a panelist every week. I look forward to hearing what comments are coming in on today's topic of Fluff Busters, and I'll pass this on to Mark.
Greetings, I'm Mark. I'm 32 years old. I'm a disabled United States Navy veteran. I'm a Spoonie because I have fibromyalgia. I also have depression and anxiety. My most debilitating symptom is the pain. Waking up feeling just smacked by a bus. And that would have to be the hardest part on me. And then dealing with battling your body all day. As everybody else has already mentioned, the fatigue is just adding that insult to the injury. So, here on Spoonie Space, I am one of the panelists, also one of the discussion leaders on occasion. I do administer in the support group as well, and on the main page I do post my memes and a few other things like that. Natalie?
Thank you all for introducing yourself. Well, this week's topic, you heard it a couple times, is Fluff Busters. So what do we mean by that, you know? The comments that people make, just go out and exercise, just lose weight, you know, just think positive, all the things that annoy us Spoonies when people tell us and say, oh, talk to this doctor, or try this pill or this oil. That's what this episode is about. So I have asked on our Spoonies For Life Facebook page, I'm going to look to the side because my screen is there. You see a whole lot of suggestions for things that are supposed to be a miracle cure for conditions, especially on Facebook. So what is the silliest suggestion you've seen? And what's the strangest things that work for you? I'm going to start with a nice and controversial one. Kathy Brugger says essential oils. Seriously, it's a mid-level marketing scam. There is no special oil that repairs joint erosion or cures autoimmune disease. Well, there was a whole discussion going on underneath that. And Alicia said, yeah, I thought they were a little crazy, but I have to admit that peppermint oil has really helped at times for aches for me. I use it topically, like icy hot, and it seems to be a bit more effective than it, but obviously it doesn't fix things. Well, I can add for myself what helps. I get these migraines and I get these tension headaches. And the only thing that really helps is to put Fix Vapor Rub or Tiger Balm on my temples and on here, and then in the back of my neck there, and it will literally burn my headache away. It will start to really, really burn to a point where the burning hurts more than the headache, and then it just both subsides. It's the craziest thing. Somebody in a pharmacy told me once, I'm like, yeah, right, I'm gonna rub Vapor Rub on my head, and it totally works. So that is the craziest thing for me. Tina, can you add something that is really crazy and works or doesn't?
Well, on the line of oils, our scent memory is really strong, and so things that are relaxing, like your lavender oil or a vanilla oil, are very soothing, and they take us back to like when we were children, and it's that mother scent, that relaxing scent. So some of the oils there is some truth to, because they can relax us or soothe us. Like you said, with peppermint, it's usually a stimulating or invigorating kind of scent, so that can actually make you feel more energetic. And the lavender or vanilla oils can make you feel more calm, which really doesn't, it doesn't cure anything. It doesn't completely take pain away, but it can help how we present ourselves and how we're feeling inside by the scents that we smell. I had something else. One of the weirdest things that I had been told are all these strange mixtures of of oils that are supposed to cure the pain. If you use it twice a day, every day, it's supposed to cure your pain, which, do your research, because it doesn't cure it, but it can help you mind over matter, kind of relax and feel better that way. How about you, Kathy?
I myself have not had any experience with the oils, but I do know that when I take a bath, or if I'm feeling stressed, if I put myself in a dark room with a vanilla candle, that kind of calms me down. Also, if I love vanilla, so it's vanilla or apple cinnamon. I put it on my pillowcase and I just lay down and just kind of breathe it in, and it does take the anxiety away. It does calm me, but it doesn't take the pain away. It just gets me down back to a level where I can tolerate it and get pushed through. And it helps with my anxiety as well. Back to you, Tina.
I'm gonna take it from here. Sorry. The next one that Lizzie said is apple cider vinegar is the weirdest one for me. She says she has fibromyalgia, irritable bowel syndrome, and she's still waiting for diagnosis and a few other bits. But she's been told that it'll fix her right up, from drinking it to bathing in it. So Trish added, apple cider vinegar will cure anything, apparently. They should give it to amputees so they can grow new limbs. I do read a lot online about apple cider vinegar, and for sure it will have some good properties. I haven't tried it myself yet, for detoxing and for against like autoimmune attacks on your body. But yeah, again, it doesn't cure anything. Another oil somebody mentions in this thread is coconut oil. So mix the coconut oil with the apple cider vinegar and take a bath. You will be cured. Okay, does anyone have anything to say about the apple cider vinegar? Tina.
Okay, so the apple cider vinegar one is funny because one of my grandfathers swore that it kept him healthy, and he was relatively healthy, no heart problems, no lung problems, right up until the last few years when he did end up with stomach cancer. He took it twice a day, a little shot glass full, and that's what he swore by. I don't know that it really can, cure everything and keep everything away. However, you can use it as an astringent because vinegar has astringent properties, and you can use it to soothe an upset stomach. So it does have, again, some health benefits, but it doesn't cure everything, and it's not going to take your pain away. The important thing is really research it and look into it. Anybody else have anything about the vinegar, or Kathy?
Actually, it's more the coconut oil side I'm going to go on. I've had some experience with that. I know when I have fatigue in my shoulders and neck, if I rub it on there, it's almost like a calmer sense of Tiger Balm or Bengay or whatever. But it soothes me because of the scent, again, going back to the oils and that. I do put it in my animals' foods, so it'll help them with their joints and all that because they're still rather young. My cats are. My dog is 18 and she walks real slow, and I don't see it having any real effect on her, but it does affect their hair. Their coats are really nice. But that's about all I can say about coconut oil. Back to you, Natalie.
Well, that was an interesting one too. Okay, here Christine says, applied kinesiology. Hold your pill bottle in your hand and I can tell you if that supplement will help you or harm you. Jennifer says, sadly I tried this. What a joke. Everything they had to say was spot on. And hold this type of pills in your hand, and if the tech can move your other hand without resistance, your body needs that supplement. Then somebody says, well, I had this done too, and then I had to do this, ask my body if this would be beneficial while holding whatever it is. And then every single thing I tested yes on was deficient in the blood work, but it was only the stuff that they were selling, and the stuff that they were not selling, you were not deficient in. Well, I can actually say something about this. I have been tested for Lyme disease 2.5 years ago. There's a lot of tests for Lyme disease, and most of the common Lyme disease tests will have you test negative for Lyme disease, but in 70% of the cases, people actually do have Lyme disease. So this test is not very accurate. So I have been to a specialist, well, in Holland, when I was still living in Holland, and she was working with the university in the field of Lyme. So I went into her home office, and then she took 1 drop of blood out of my finger and put it under the microscope and looked right there. The microscope was hooked onto the computer, and in the computer I could see my blood. And she says, well, you don't have Lyme, because this is what Lyme blood looks like, and this is what your blood looks like. But I can see you have some sort of lingering virus, and I can see that your white blood cells are extremely active. I don't know much about that, so go and have that checked out. But I can supplements, and I don't know. Yeah, there were oils too. So she had this little box with tiny bottles in it of supplements, and then she put this, you know, the witch's pendant above it. And then if it would turn to the right, I needed it, and if it would turn to the left, I didn't need it. And she put it like that, and then some turned to the right and some turned to the left. It was really weird. So she did that for these 12 bottles, and in the end I had to have oregano oil and 2 other pill bottles. And she told me to stop eating sugar. So that's where I started with the oregano oil. That was to detox my blood, and that worked really well. It made me nice and nauseous for a week. Then later, I really felt it helped, and with stopping sugar also, that has made me so much better. But then the other 2 pills were supposed to take away my fibromyalgia pain, and those didn't do anything. So my personal experience is literally 50-50. Half of the stuff she told me was spot on, and even now in testing my blood with a lingering virus, it's completely accurate. But then the other 2 pills that she gave me that were really expensive, I didn't really notice a difference. After 3 months, I didn't buy the new ones. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do that anymore. So I don't know, Mark, do you have any weird experiences like these?
Well, I've tried a few different mass list marketing things in the past. There was a fruit juice with acai berries, become healthier and wealthier at the same time by selling this product. And, I have to admit, it was a good tasting juice, a very expensive juice, and that's about it. Go to the supermarket, grab an acai juice, you'll get about the same flavor taste, and you're good. Does nothing for your pain or your, health as a spoonie, health benefits of having acai berries or whatever. Yes, vitamins are good. I'm not going to argue that they're bad. However, it's not going to fix your chronic illness. And then a friend of mine was selling this powdered drink mix, and again, it was a 3-month thing you were supposed to be on, and it was supposed to make you feel better and more energetic and youthful, and it had a 30-day money-back guarantee on a 90-day trial. Let that process for a moment. And then at 25 days when nothing happened, I decided, you know what? Nope, I want my money back. And I told my friend, no big deal, it's just it didn't work for me. And they were fine with it, and they're like, oh yeah, maybe we should make it a 90-day money back guarantee, not 30, but that's here nor there because it didn't work. And I believe my friend no longer uses it anyway either. So that speaks for that one. Let's see here. Losing weight. I want to touch on losing weight. I have had a weight issue my whole life. And I'll give you a brief little crash course of my weight roller coaster. In high school, I was around 400 pounds. I was, a tech geek that did not get out of the house. And then I realized I needed to do something with my life, join the military, so I'd go to school. So I had to lose a lot of weight to join the Navy. Did that, became a Spoonie, got on all the pills, and gained a lot of weight. And then all the doctors suddenly say, lose some weight, you'll feel better. And it's like, hey, wait a second. When I was injured, I was 18% body fat, active duty Navy, like best physical fitness of my life. And I was in chronic pain. So being skinny is not going to make you immune to pain, but whatever. Well, I'm not, gained all that weight from getting on the pills. I've lost that weight now. I've lost 100 pounds since becoming a Spoonie, which is not easy to do. And I'll get into what works later. However, the losing the weight did not fix me. I still have pain every day, but it's not a miracle cure. Yes, my knees are a little bit better because I'm not lugging around 100 extra pounds. So that knee pain is a little bit less, but still have fibromyalgia. So, when weight comes into a factor, your doctors can tend to over-bully you on your weight. I've been there. I've done that. I'm on both sides of that equation. It is not a cure to lose your weight. It can help minor things and overall health, but it's not going to fix your chronic illness. Anybody else want to add in on weight or any of those other massless marketings? Kathy?
I have to agree with Mark. Before I became a Spoonie, I weighed 120 pounds. And as soon as I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which took almost 15 years to get the diagnosis, they put me on medications, and 95% of the medications side effect was weight gain. And I'm embarrassed to say I weigh almost 300 pounds now, but that doesn't mean the weight gain is why I have the chronic pain. I have the chronic pain because I have fibromyalgia and because I have arthritis. I've been on a roller coaster of weight loss, and I'm working on getting back on that roller coaster again and hopefully going downhill. But it's not the cure-all for what I have wrong with me. And hearing those statements from people to just go and lose weight, you'll be better, you'll be able to get a job, you'll be able to hold a job. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. And so that's why I love being a part of the Spoonie community here at Spoonies for Life, because they understand. But Tina, would you like to chime in on this?
Sure. I also have been kind of a yo-yo with weight. As a child, I was always, the heavy kid. Somehow I wish I knew how and wish I could do it again when I was in high school. Whoo, I lost some weight, and I look back at those pictures and I was something else. But having kids and everything else, you gain the weight, you lose the weight, and it is very, very frustrating when the doctor keeps telling you to lose weight, especially when you have pain and they say, well, your pain's going to go away if you lose some weight. Well, okay, maybe a little bit of the pain will go away because it's easier on my joints, and you're not wearing and tearing as much. However, it doesn't cure your fibro, it doesn't cure your depression, it's good for your health overall. It's good for your heart. It's good for your body. But, I'm holding my own pretty good right now. I wish I could be a little bit more active and be a little bit healthier weight-wise. But again, that's something that snowballs because if you have more pain from exercising, sometimes you need more of the pain medications, which makes you gain weight. So it's just this big cycle, and that's pretty much what I've experienced throughout having the fibromyalgia. It's just around and around and around. How about back to you, Natalie?
Yeah, you hear that comment everywhere. Just lose weight. Well, I'm very thin. I'm underweight, actually. We measure in kilos here. So for me, it's 56 kilo, which is 5 kilos less than what I should be. It doesn't make a difference. I'm in pain. And being underweight doesn't help too. You know, people say, oh my gosh, you look amazing. I'm like, well, I just see bones and skin and not a lot more. And it's difficult to eat and it's not really making me happy. So, yeah, there are so many ideas about what your weight should be. And with having a chronic illness, the weight is like the 10th thing on the list that's important to fix. Anyway, let's go back to the comments. Sam says the silliest I've seen and tried is light therapy. I've never heard of that. Anyway, literally staring at a light for 20 minutes a day. It's a pretty color though, but that it works for me. I have fibro and I feel like right now nothing works for me. Alexandria says light therapy can be life-changing for some disorders if melatonin comes into play, but others definitely not the right choice. Alexandria also said, I hated trying light therapy. And Sam says, I just feel kind of silly looking into this light. But maybe it works for some, even if it's just the placebo effect. Then somebody without name is saying, I have fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis, and what's helping me a lot is cannabis oil without the THC, and for pain, turmeric tablets. They help and they are organic. Organic raw coconut oil helps with the pain and some of the mental issues. And Stephanie says, I just got the cannabis oil without THC. I'm afraid to take it, but I'm told it will help. I have Lyme disease and I want to know if there are any side effects or not. We have our cannabis scholar here, so I'm going to let you answer that question. Does the cannabis oil without THC, will that give you any side effects?
All right, let's go ahead and talk about the cannabis oil. And there's cannabis oil with THC and without. I am very much in favor of both of them because they all have their uses. Let's specifically talk about the non-THC oils at this point, which are the CBD oils, which is cannabidiol by its scientific cannabinoid name, which does not have a psychoactive effect to it. So you're not going to feel anything in your head. You're not going to get that type of effect. CBD has been shown to work very well for a lot of things, such as seizures, etc., for those type of things. And some people also get some pain relief with that as well, because it does have anti-inflammatory properties in it, which then helps with the pain. Now, it doesn't interact the same way with your endocannabinoid system, which is your body's internal system that processes the various cannabinoids. The cannabinoid that interacts with that system is delta-9 tetracannabinol, otherwise known as THC. That one directly interacts with the endocannabinoid system with those receptors. The CBD can then assist in a different way, but it doesn't directly interact with that system. And actually, if you feel that you've taken too much THC in your oil and have CBD, you can take that to reduce the head effect side effects that some people get when they take too much. You can take the THC and not take too much and balance that. It does take a little bit of time to learn your body's dosage as far as how to do that. I personally have been using cannabis for about 3 years, and I say personally it saved my life. Mine has the THC in it. I use a high THC strain, actually a few of them, and they help me not only with my pain and my fatigue, but they also have helped me be able to exercise because I'm able to deal with that pain. I've been able to train myself, get on the treadmill. That's how I've lost 100 pounds. And along with that, my goal wasn't weight loss at the time, though, because, as we said, weight isn't the most important thing. For me, it was to try to become healthier. And my biggest thing was I wanted to walk without a cane. I have fibromyalgia, and so there wasn't, like, I think, broken specifically. I just had, with all the pharmaceuticals, I was hadn't much of a vertigo type thing kind of going on, and I had very little balance. I could take 1 to 2 steps max without the cane, and then I'd fall. Since then, being able to train myself on the treadmill, I've been cane-free about a year now. With THC, I've been able to do that. And I think people are over-demonizing THC because they're worried about that high. And let's be honest, there is one when you first start if you take too much. The process is called titration, and it's adjusting your dose to the ideal dose. Your ideal dose is the most effective for pain-wise and least side effects. Side effects being dizziness, lightheaded, euphoria. These all sound like things you'd find on the back of your pill bottles too. So they have those side effects as well. Don't get confused that a high is only on the cannabis, because pharmaceuticals have it as well. They just call it something different. I kind of been going on a little bit here. Natalie's come back. I don't want to take up the whole show.
I see that Tina has something to say, so let's go to Tina.
I'd like to touch back on the light therapy a little bit. Living in the northern U.S., and I'm sure Mark, you probably noticed as well, in the winter months we don't have the sunlight that we do in the summer. And that goes along with my SADD, my seasonal depression. And one thing my doctor had suggested for me was light therapy. And I don't know why, I forgot her name, but why they would tell her to look into the light. What I do is I use it as my light as I'm reading in the winter. And in doses, maybe a half an hour, I'll read my book and I'll have the light next to me, and that'll be my reading light. Now you have to make sure you have the right kind of bulbs. Fibrofog, I've been trying to remember which ones I use, but they are specific daylight bulbs that you have to use. And for me, it really does help because it simulates the sunlight, which also helps produce your vitamin D and your mood. So in that manner, it can help mood stabilizing, which also, of course, can help your pain levels as you're feeling calmer and less anxious and less stressed or depressed. It does help that way. So that's one thing that I do use that, and again, my doctor suggested it, and he's the one that told me the right ones to get and the dose of sunlight I should have ideally every day. So Natalie?
That sounds really good. This was the first time I've ever heard of light therapy. I did have like the big red light that warms your muscles. So that's not a red. It's like a red. I don't know what it is, but you can feel it like going into your muscles. I used to have that when I went to physical therapy for my fibromyalgia pain. He would put the light on me for 20 minutes, and you could just feel it really, really warming up. And when I lived in Holland, it's very similar to Wisconsin. It doesn't get as cold and as snowy, but it gets really gray and rainy, and that can be 9 or 10 months out of the year. So that can really affect your mood. So the red, I know my mother's grandfather used it, and it helps with the warmth. I don't know how much it really helped against the pain, but it helped against the stiffness at least. Kathy, what do you have to say?
Yeah, that's called infrared therapy. And I've had it done numerous times through physical therapy. And it's wonderful for easing the tension in the muscles and relaxing you. I've even thought about getting my own for here at home. But it's really wonderful. But again, it does not cure the pain. It helps ease the muscles and everything, but it doesn't cure the pain or the fatigue. But I just wanted to let you know that that was infrared therapy.
Thank you so much. Like brain fog, I really could not remember the word. But yeah, I've done that. Well, now that I live on a very hot island, I really don't need that. It's too hot here. I've actually been to the physical therapist here in February when it gets really much, much colder. And they put this infrared lamp on me for 30 minutes. I'm like, please take it off. I'm melting. This is not helping me. It's just sending me to a flare because it's so hot. So I didn't go back to that physical therapy office. Okay, let's go to the next comment. Jennifer says, I went to a herbalist and she had me purchase a bunch of liquid type herbs. Had me mix about 6 of these herbs and drink it twice a day. Let me tell you, it burned so bad, and after 6 weeks, I had no changes. I ended up at the doctor's for esophagus irritation and was told to stop. I went back to the herbalist, and she said she wanted to try this electric thing on me. I picked up my purse and walked out after asking for my money back. Okay, that was a very interesting one. I just want to note everything we say and all the comments that are being given. We are all not medical professionals. You know, you can have a naturopath and you can have somebody who's worked with oils and you can have a herbalist, and that's all perfectly fine. But next to your real medical team, your medical doctor, you know, I'm a firm believer in using oils, drops, supplements, a lot of natural things, but it does not replace the regular modern medicine. There's a reason that we have that, and there's a reason, you know, our average age is going up, and that's because of the medicine. I know that modern medicine have failed most of us Spoonies because I feel personally a lot of resentment against all the doctors that could not cure me. But it's still very necessary because of, well, this is just a minor example, but there are more examples like that. Jessie said the silliest one she heard was grounding. Walking on dirt with no shoes on, touching the earth will cure my rheumatoid arthritis. I live in Wyoming where I go barefoot often, and it doesn't work. A silly thing that actually helps is while they do not offer a cure, essential oils help with supplement management. Well, on grounding, I know grounding techniques, not walking in my bare feet. Well, I walk in the sand here a lot, but really like breathing techniques. And my one is thinking about my toes. And that makes, when I have a lot of anxiety, I have a lot of anxiety with tests and going to the doctor and hospitals, which I have to do often. So I get a lot of anxiety attacks for that. And I really breathe through it. And when I'm doing a test, I had an echo yesterday. And it just, I don't know, freaks me out. So I'm laying on this table and I'm thinking of my toes. That's my grounding. Just think of your toes. Oh, I'm wiggling my big toe. Oh, I'm wiggling my tiny toe. That's a grounding technique. Everybody has different ones, but that really works for me. The reason that I know all these techniques is because when I was 16 and I started getting all these symptoms, they thought I had panic attacks. and they put me in breathing and grounding classes for 2 years, but it was my heart going too fast, and that's why I couldn't breathe. So another great example, but the 2 years of breathing classes are still paying off because the grounding techniques really help. Tina, do you have something to add on grounding?
I was just going to say I very rarely wear shoes unless I absolutely positively have to. And as far as connecting to the earth, while I do enjoy it, I love walking through the sand or through the grass, but I can't say I've seen any health benefits from it. However, as you're talking about the kind of mental grounding or being in the moment and self-awareness, again, it can help with the depression and the anxiety, which again can affect your pain. So, I mean, I can see why people say it, but it's not going to cure anything, and it's not going to eliminate it. It's still going to be there, and that's something that you will always have. I mean, it's a tool for in your toolbox for helping you get through a moment rather than finding a cure. That was it.
Thank you so much, Mark. Do you have anything to add on this topic? No? Okay, we're going to the next comments. Let's see. Sarah says, acceptance can cure pain, apparently. And she says, my husband always says that sex helps, but that's a man thing. On losing weight, I was told that when I was a big size, that I had to lose weight and that would fix it. Well, we did touch upon that one. About acceptance, I personally feel that since I have accepted my lifelong chronic condition, I've been able to deal with it better. Not always, because I had a major breakdown yesterday, but usually I'm very good at staying positive and, you know, just I'm not happy with the situation. I want it to be different, but I accept that if this is the way I'm going to have to live my life forever, if it's not the worst day, like in the middle, I can accept that, and I can accept myself the way that I am right now. I will always wish that I would feel better, and I strongly hope that I will find something that will make me feel better. But if I look back into my whole life, it kind of goes like this. So I have when I go a little bit better, and it's a little bit worse, and so I'm just hoping that this year is just a very bad moment, and I will fix it somehow. And next year will be much better. So personally, I think acceptance is very big. Mark, I'm going to let you speak on that.
Yes, definitely accepting yourself is important. It is okay to try to improve yourself as part of your acceptance, but accepting what you've been dealt is very important. And then once you've done that, then you can really start to look at your plan. And what is your plan to manage your life? Because it's going to be a full-time job that demands a lot of overtime, regardless if you work or not. So, you know, it takes that acceptance to then navigate your path. Kathy, you had something to add?
Yeah, one of the things I keep telling my mother and I keep telling myself is to accept your situation and adapt to it. And then just figure out what works for you to get you through each day. And as long as you're moving forward, then that's a good thing. So some days I may get out of bed and make myself breakfast, but that's as far as I get. But I moved forward. I got out of bed. So every day I tell myself accept and adapt and get through the day and move forward. And I keep telling my mom to do the same thing. And some people struggle with that. Some people can do it easily. But I think it's a good point that if you accept your limitations you adapt to it to make ways to get around it, because I'm not going to let this illness stop me from being the adventurous soul that I am. So back to Natalie.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that. You know, I've not been well my entire life, but I did travel the world. I went literally everywhere, but I just always made sure that I had resting days or resting afternoons or early nights because I just knew I don't have so much energy. Now this year that my health and my fatigue have become so extreme, I still travel, but the travel knocks me out, depresses me. I get sad when I'm somewhere and I really want to do something, but I can't do that anymore. Well, when I was taking the same trip 5 years ago and I was able to like take a walk and enjoy it more. So acceptance is very big in that one as well. Okay, I just read a very interesting one. Christina says, sadly enough, her 6-year-old has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, EDS. She gets horrible leg pains, mostly at night, that wake her up screaming. We read online to put a bar of soap in her bed. She was waking up almost nightly. In 3 months, she has had the bar of soap in her bed. She's only woken once with leg pain. I think the bar of soap had fallen out of bed that night. It's crazy, but it works and they believe in it. And Andrea says, well, I've heard good things about the soap thing. It's silly, but it's good. And Danielle said, yeah, I heard good things about the soap. Some swear Ivory, others swear by Irish Spring. It's a very crazy one. I've never heard it, but I'm so happy this little 6-year-old, you know, is being helped with this crazy, silly bar of soap in her bed, really. Okay, Eva said, I was told becoming a vegan would cure my fibro and my rheumatoid arthritis. I highly doubt it. I have to say, a lot of people told me in this 20-year active struggle since I've been a teen to a grown up. They told me just become a vegan because you'll be healthier. I had some friends that went vegan, but they were already healthy. And then they were more healthy. They only have to take B12 supplements. And they were like, oh, I feel so great. You should do this. I personally think that for some people being a vegan works, but I had my cousin be a vegan. And she became anemic after being vegan for 8 years. So she was forced to eat more red meat. And apparently it has something to do with blood type. Some people with a certain blood type have to eat meat. And some people with another blood type, they can be vegan and their body can handle it perfectly fine. So I didn't research any of the blood type things. It's just something I heard from others and experiences of my friends. But I don't think for me personally, being a vegan will help. Kathy, do you have anything to add on that?
I'm not a vegan. I'm a big fan of meat. But I regulate the kind of meat that I eat and how often I eat it. I try to eat red meat once or twice a week, and then chicken a couple times a week, and then I'm either eggs or, you know, salad. But I'm a big fan of meat and not being a vegan. One of the things that we haven't touched on yet that I'd like to kind of shoot out there, since we're getting close to the end of the hour, is the pharmaceutical ads on TV, and how they tell you, oh, if you take this drug, you're going to be cured, and how family members keep bringing that up and bringing it up. And I know we have opposite sides based on one pharmaceutical that is advertised out there. It has worked for me. I'm in the process of coming off of it. The drug name is Lyrica, and it has worked for me. But my insurance isn't fond of paying for it, so I'm having to change it, and I'm having some issues with that. But I have had success with it, but not to the extreme that the advertisement on TV says that, oh, you'll be able to go out and hike the trails and go on, bike rides and things like that. It hasn't cured me to that effect, but it has helped me a lot. Now, I know on the other side of the coin, Mark has had some experience on the other side of the coin. So I'm going to pass this on to him so he can say what experience he's had with it. Mark?
All right. Yes, Kathy. And I also want to mention with that commercial, because, yes, let's talk about that commercial here for a moment. I was on Lyrica for 6-7 years, and it helped by taking a tiny bit of the edge off. But let me digress back into that commercial. I was using a cane at this time, and people were like, "You're taking Lyrica. You should be all better. Why are you walking with a cane?" And I'm going, it's not a cure. It's like barely taking this edge off. But then with me, Lyrica caused severe depression. I ended up on a lot of antidepressants to go with this because of dealing with the side effects of Lyrica. It's thought that the disassociation I had was due to the excess pharmaceuticals I was on, Lyrica being one of the most prominent ones I was on. I was on the maximum dose the VA would allow for someone who had fibromyalgia. There was another condition, and fog is preventing me from remembering it at the moment, that they would allow a one-step higher dose, but for me, it just, in the end, it was not enough of a pain reliever that it was like taking a Motrin, and Motrin doesn't do anything but just tear up your stomach. So for me at least, because the chronic pain, once you're in a high-level pain, the over-the-counter low-level painkillers that everybody wants you to take, hey, Advil, back in body, Aleve, there's lots of them out there for us, but they don't really do a lot. They're great for acute pain, and that's the difference, acute versus chronic. Once you get into chronic, you need to find something that works better. For me, Lyrica was not that, and I was on 3 pages printed out of pharmaceuticals at that time, and now I'm on none. Well, no, I'm on cannabis, and that's it. So, that's the Lyrica issue. Tina?
I just wanted to say that you and Kathy are bringing up a good point. Really, what works for one of us doesn't work for the next person. And taking into effect all of these things that we're discussing, whether it's the mind over matter aspect, the meditation aspect, just your whole body system in the first place, your illness, what we all need to look at is building a toolbox of things that work for us, because not everything works for every person. And whether it's a physical therapy, whether it's a light therapy, whether it's turmeric, or one of the weird ones I was told was, I think it was Mediterranean sea salt and honey twice a day. If you find something that works, if you try some of these weird things, first of all, number one, talk to your doctor about it, because some of these supplements can really affect your medications or cause your medications not to work or have very adverse effects with your medications. But if you try something and you've worked with your doctor with it, put it in your toolbox and say, hey, this did work and this didn't work. So that was just my 2 cents on that. Natalie?
Yeah, exactly. Things that work for one person will not work for the rest, and you need to figure out what works for you. We all have, in our Spoonies for Life community, we all have different conditions, but even people with the same condition can react differently. So where I have Hashimoto's, I'm in a support group with 45,000 other people that have Hashimoto, and I see things coming by, and I try it, and they don't help for me. That just means that your body is different, or maybe your root cause causing your issues is different. So yeah, you're just gonna have to figure out what works for you. Nobody can help you in that. Everybody can give advice, and you're just going to have to test it out. And always test it out with supervision of a real doctor. Because like Tina said, a lot of the supplements can counteract medicine, and it can be really dangerous. So I'm going to give the mic for 5 minutes to Mark, because I'm interested to hear about how cannabis has helped you, and then we'll wrap it up. So Mark, please tell us.
Yes. Okay. So let me start a little bit over 3 years ago. I was on lots of pain medications. I was visiting the emergency room a lot, going up 40 minutes to the VA emergency room to be seen because none of my pain medications I had would work. And most of the time, I would just sit there and wait, and they would do very little. And so I was in a lot of pain, and I was crying in a fetal position on a chair. I was just hurting so bad, and I did not want to go back to the VA because it never helped, like, long term. Like, sure, they might every once in a while give me a shot, and it would knock me out, and I'd be done for the night, but it never helped long term. So I knew a friend that had used cannabis, not medically. I had done my own research, though, and I said, hey, let's get in touch with this person, and I tried it. Wow, it helped. I took too much, and I slept, but most people, when they take it their first time, do take too much, and that's just because no one has a clear understanding of how to take it, because there's so much mystery and these backroom things and whatnot that you have to try to navigate through, and it's scary because you don't know what's going on. So I went and I became a legal patient. I got certified by the state of Maine, and so then I got a caregiver, and I was getting legal medicine. And so I would use it as needed to take care of the pain and the fatigue, but try not to take too much. That's a very hard process, and it takes people a couple of weeks to several months to learn kind of what their body reacts to it, and to allow your body to adapt to this new medication. Because if you think back, way back when you started being a Spoonie or started being given pharmaceuticals, and the first time you were given Oxycontin or the first time you were given Vicodin, think about the effects you felt that day. It was usually very powerful, overwhelming, and over time your body adapted, and then you could take a Vicodin and not even think it even affected you at all, and be like, hey, it didn't even affect my pain, because your body adapted to it. So for me, I had gotten this original caregiver. His medicine wasn't the greatest quality, so I ended up switching caregivers to one that's part of an organization here in Maine, Compassionate Caregivers, that work with patients, and it's more patient-centered on quality medicine. And you look at your different conditions as far as what it is, and your history as well. If you've ever tried it in your life, you will already know kind of the effect it gives you. Myself, I had never tried it in my life until that day. So I was flying completely blind. Since then, I've done lots of research. I read medical journals and scientific articles and books to try to learn that. But what I did is slowly got off the pharmaceuticals myself, to adjust as I needed, and then solely became onto just using the cannabis. And I do that about every 3-4 hours. I'll take some. I smoke because it is the fastest way to enter your bloodstream. It is also the easiest way to adjust your dose, because you can take one inhale, wait a little bit, and you're already going to start to feel some effects. Versus if you use a pill or a cookie or a brownie or whatever you've infused your medicine into, that can take an hour to 2 hours to gain an effect because you have to metabolize it first. And then it's really easy to take too much, and then you can't take less. So for me, smoking works very well for dosing. I also do a topical application of cannabis. I use coconut oil and peppermint essential oil as a cooling agent in my topical, along with using cannabis. It's an anti-inflammatory, so it helps relieve local pain. It's not going to cure it completely, but it is one of the best things that manages pain for me is between the two, topically and smoking, to be able to control that pain to a level where I'm able to be more active. I can play with my niece and nephew. I can go out and take a run, not a very long one, but I can run now, where that's a huge thing. I was 2 steps without a cane was time for a celebration, yay, and now I can run. I also can disc golf. I tried a little bit of that with a cane. It's slow, and it's a easy sport that way because you can throw and wait. And anyway, but for me, the cannabis has helped manage the pain better than anything has ever done. My pain is reduced by about 60% on a good day, and sometimes as low as 40%. Depending on weather, mood, if I'm having a really bad day. When I lost my stepfather, I spiraled, and my pain was very bad. Still better controlled than it ever was on the pharmaceuticals, but still, your mood and weather and all these things can still affect you. It's not a cure. It's just a very good pain management system. Also, it's one that you can't overdose on. Versus look at many of your other pills, take 2 or 3 of them and you might, end up in a hospital. The equivalent to try to do that with cannabis, you're looking at about 1,500 pounds consumed in 15 minutes. It's just not humanly possible to overdose yourself on cannabis. Is there any more to my story you would like to hear, Natalie? I know we're kind of pushing time past.
No, I think you've covered the basics pretty well, and you've explained it in a way that is very easy to comprehend. So really, thank you for that. I hear in the Spoonie community that a lot of people in states and countries where it is legal, because obviously it's not legal everywhere, but in the states and the countries where it's legal, I hear a lot of people use it, and it has had a positive effect on them. So thank you for that story, Mark. Hopefully more people that are allowed to try it will try it out. That will be we're the end of the time. Yeah, sorry, I was just checking, but yeah, we've been on for an hour. I still have 30 more comments that I didn't do, so if your comment wasn't read, I'm really sorry. There were a lot. I tried to put in as many as I could. Thank you for watching Spoonie Space. Right now we're on live on YouTube every Tuesday. If you want to receive notifications when we go live, just hit the subscribe button on YouTube. It will give you a notification when we go live, and it will give you a notification when we upload new videos. We're also having videos made. We're slowly building our YouTube because it's fairly new. This is the 8th episode, so we started 2 months ago. We want to share positive stories and yeah, just make people in the chronically ill community feel connected with others, feel understood, and share some positivity, because positivity really helps your mindset and to get through it all. So don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully see you next week.